Dagoretti South. 3 minutes.
Madam Speaker, I must truly thank the Honorable Junet for bringing this matter to the floor of the House. The truth of the matter is that this country is treading dangerously. The moment you have an affront on institutions, it does not matter whether that institution is the presidency or parliament or the clergy, any civilization or any democracy needs institutions intact. Madam Speaker, we have a great example in a country called Sudan. Sudan went down the route that we want to go now. They broke down their institutions. Today, those who are clamoring for the fall of the presidency, clamoring for the fall of a government, today are crying, wishing that they would be having a government or a president. Madam Speaker, it is the good book in the book of Daniel that tells me that he changes the times and the seasons. He lifts up kings and he removes kings. He gives wisdom to those who are wise and knowledge to those who are discerning. Madam Speaker, this good book that I read is the one that tells me that leaders are to be respected. And we are not calling upon someone to respect Kairie or to respect President Ruto. You might have your differences with President Ruto, but you cannot sacrilege the institution of presidency. The institute of parliament is sacrilegious, Madam Speaker, to have an affront like the one we are seeing from the leaders of the clergy. But most importantly, Madam Speaker, those who claim to be calling out evil, to be calling out injustice, to be calling out immorality, need to check themselves first, Madam Speaker. Because it is the good book again, in the book of Matthew, that tells me, why do you look at the log in your neighbor's eye? Why do you look at the speck in your neighbor's eye while you have a log in your own? What is happening in these institutions called religious institutions? There is nothing that they are calling out other people on that they are not doing, Madam Speaker. There is immorality in our churches. There is theft and thievery in our churches. There is a lot of evil things that are happening there. So, Madam Speaker, the point here is, let the politics be done by politicians and let the clergies be true to the call that they are called to. And it is very clear in the Bible, the place of the religious leader and the place of the political leader. Because we have not traded places. We are not in the altars of churches preaching. In the same way, a preacher cannot be on the platform of politics, politicking. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker.
Yeah, the Honorable Member for, Honorable Milio Dhambo, Member for Subat, no? Those who want to contribute, put the intervention button.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, I can hear members are already shouting bad girl. On this one, let me be a good girl. Madam Speaker, even though I listen and hear what my other members are saying, but I actually want to say that there are a few areas where I disagree. When the voice of the church is silent, the nation suffers. And Madam Speaker, I want to say that I agree with the church that they must speak and must call out evil. And it is indeed unfortunate that we find ourselves in a situation where members of parliament can actually be talking back and forth with the church. Did the members of parliament bring this? No. The church brought it upon themselves. And Madam Speaker, they brought it upon themselves that if you look at the last election, the church was very partisan. The church classified my party leader a demon and a devil. And they are not God, because only God knows the heart of man. You told us as the church that President Ruto was ordained by God. When did God unordain him? Or were you listening to yourselves and not to God? This is a very serious issue. The church has a place, a very special place in society. And when you cede that position to politicians, the society loses it. That is why we have